Growing up as a wrestling fan, I used to watch a lot of wrestling YouTube channels. However, some of these wrestling channels were definitely better than others. Well, in today's video, we are going to be ranking 10 of the best OG wrestling YouTube channels. Before we get into that though, if you are new here, make sure to go down below, drop a like and subscribe. I'll post multiple wrestling related videos every single week. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So here, as you can see on screen, we have our tiers: go, great watch, meh, not for me, and trash. And let's start things off. Up first, we come with some heavy hitters. We come with the Elite. I'm going to put them in meh for now, and let's talk about them. Now, why have I put the Young Bucks in there, considering they are professional wrestlers? Well, being the Elite was a big part of wrestling YouTube, like 15 years ago. Actually, 15 years ago is probably a bit too long. I'd say probably like 10 years ago. And being the Elite was great. Now, with that being said, do they get docked points because they were professional wrestlers? Maybe. I mean, it provided some great moments. Being the Elite genuinely did provide some really good moments. I'm going to put it into great watch, actually. I am. Up next, we come to Wrestling Days. Now, Wrestling Days, growing up for me, was quite a cool one because he was from where I'm from. He was local to me. So I'd see him go and do toy hunts, and then I could go to them same shops and do the same toy hunts, essentially. I could see what was in stock without actually having to go there. Now, with that being said, I definitely enjoyed his videos when I was a lot younger. I did try and watch one of his news videos recently, and I did see a lot of clips on TikToks from his live streams, and nowadays I'd have to drop him in not for me. Now, it's not to say that there definitely wasn't a time or a place for his content, and I definitely think there is an audience there. If you are of a younger age, I think you will enjoy his content, but I would be lying if I said I could go back and rewatch a lot of them videos. But Days, lovely bloke, absolutely incredible bloke. If it was a tier list on how nice people are, he'd be in GOAT. Now we come to What Culture. What Culture, it's quite fitting that they have culture in the name because they were definitely a big part of the wrestling culture on YouTube. In the early days, the lists with Pachiti, Blampied, Jack the Jobber, King Ross, all these things, the watch-alongs, the match reactions, the punishments, the vlogs, everything was great. And then from the success of that, we got WCPW, which again was incredible and was huge for the Brit Rest scene. It brought so many new eyes to British independent wrestling and wrestlers, and I would even credit What Culture for the United Kingdom tournament that WWE did, and then subsequently NXT UK, which was slightly damaging to the Brit Rest scene. But I mean, go back and look at the original UK Championship tournament. I think pretty much every single wrestler that was in it had appeared on WCPW. And not only that, but you're talking about guys like Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, Will Ospreay, Drew McIntyre, all appeared in WCPW. And for that, WCPW is iconic, and I could put it in GOAT. But when people started to leave, the content and everything suffered, and What Culture hasn't really recovered since. Simon Miller was a great addition, but Simon Miller couldn't carry What Culture on his shoulders forever. And for that reason, I have to relegate them into meh. They really had the highest of highs and also the lowest of lows. So we kind of have to middle it out into meh. Next, we come to Wrestling with Regret. Now, Wrestling with Regret is still making videos now, and they're still doing pretty well, I'm sure. But back in the day, he was popping off with everything, and he reviewed the best of things and, more importantly, the worst of things. His lists as well were so good. I think growing up as a wrestling fan, a lot of my education came from Wrestling with Regret because he put you on to things that you wouldn't otherwise know about. And a lot of the awful things I know about professional wrestling, not the dark stuff, but I mean the shindies, if you will, the legends of wrestling shows, they came from Wrestling with Regret. And for that reason, I put him in great watch. And you know what? He goes above the Young Bucks for sure, 100%. Now we come to a man that I'm sure is probably going to be in the thumbnail of this video, Adam Blampied. A controversial figure in the world of professional wrestling. He has been on and had more channels than I've had hot dinners. And that is because everywhere that Adam Blampied has gone, controversy has followed. Now, when you talk about hosts and talent and just creativity, Adam Blampied is the top of the top. But he is also a man that self-admittedly has been plagued with his own demons. Much like what I said with Wrestling Days, where I said, if it was based on personalities and how they are as a person, they'd be in GOAT. but because it's based on content, he's in not for me. With Adam Blampied, it's the opposite. For his content, I actually have to put him in Great Watch ahead of the Young Bucks, and I might put him above Wrestling with Regret as well, but if it was based on what he's like as a person, he'd probably have to drop. Again, I don't know him personally, but just what we've heard and all the controversies, it's tough, man. Moving on from one controversial figure to another, we come to Grimm's Toy Show. Now, I think every wrestling fan that grew up watching YouTube was a fan of Grimm's Toy Show, and it became a thing with him where you clicked on for the wrestling content, but you stayed for the character, you stayed for the heel wife vlogs, you stayed for the vacation vlogs, and then he would do the amazing vlogs going to pay-per-views. He did GTS wrestling. The warehouse days were incredible, and then Grimm hit a bit of a dark turn. Obviously, he had the divorce with heel wife, and that led him down a bit of a strange path, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. He made some questionable decisions in life. He surrounded himself with questionable people. I know his ex, did he get remarried? I don't know what she was to him, but his ex, she was interesting to say the least. And then there's the story of him getting kicked out of a McJuggernuggets party because of indecent things that people he brought were doing. Like I said, when I think about my childhood with Grimm, it was iconic. And a part of me wants to put him in GOAT, genuinely. But seeing what I would classify as the midlife crisis that unfolded after my childhood, I don't know if he can stay in GOAT, and it pains me that I might have to, for the same reason as What Culture, at least with Adam Blampied, throughout all his controversies, he's still made good videos. Grimm went down his dangerous spiral, and he hasn't really recovered since. I really hope he's trying. I did see some recent videos where he addressed going down that wrong path and saying he wants to get back on the right one. But I just hope that he can recover what he once had. I really do, because he was the best wrestling YouTuber at a time. On the GTS wrestling theme, we come to Doohop. Now, realistically, you can't talk about Grimm without Doohop. I mean, it's like talking about bread without butter, cereal without milk. And Doohop, as someone who was kind of slowly eased into the YouTube thing, I mean, he was appearing in Grimm's videos and then made his own channel. And I have to say, Doohop's videos at a time were good. The quizzes that he did were genuinely great. Like, I loved them quiz videos with Alex, the Ninja Twins, Grimm. And at least not to my knowledge has Doohop been involved in any major controversies. I mean, he had the divorce, I'm sure, but I don't think I could put him above Grimm. It doesn't feel right to put him above anyone who is here. I think Doohop has to stay at the bottom of meh, but that's not criticism to him. That's more credit to everyone that's above him. Now we come to an interesting one that I'm sure a lot of people have actually forgotten. Brandon Hodge. I'd forgotten about Brandon Hodge, and another wrestling YouTuber involved in controversies. I can't even specifically remember all the controversies he was a part of. I know there was a lot with his ex-girlfriend. Now, his videos, his unboxing videos, his WWE shop videos, his going to show vlogs were great. And I tell you what, a little bit of Joe Hall wrestling lore. I actually wrote fan mail to Brandon Hodge and Grimm's Toy Show. I appeared in a Grimm's Toy Show video, in a fan mail video, and I think I appeared in a Brandon Hodge fan mail video. Now, looking back on the videos, do they hold up? Actually, no. I have to say no, and for that reason, I have to drop him in not for me. And I truthfully don't know what he's up to nowadays, but I hope he's doing well. I truthfully do. Now we come to people who have stood the test of time. We come to Wrestle Talk. Now, most people will know Wrestle Talk from the YouTube channel, but my first introduction to Wrestle Talk was actually through Wrestle Talk TV on Challenge back in the day. You would have TNA on Challenge, and then immediately after, you would have Wrestle Talk TV, which was great. So then to discover the YouTube channel and then do, again, really good things, really well produced videos, and to see that they have really stood the test of time. I mean, Ollie and Luke, I mean, the 3 count videos are great. I still keep up to date fairly often with the news videos. For that reason, they're going in GOAT. Oh, my mouse just decided to lock, but they are going in GOAT. And now we come to the last but not least channel. Cultaholic. Cultaholic's a tough one because obviously they left Wrestle Talk, all the Cultaholic guys, because they had fallen out with the Wrestle Talk bosses, and they started their own thing, which was Cultaholic. One thing that I really enjoyed was the Cultaholic podcast. I actually got a mention on the Cultaholic podcast not too long ago. I say not too long ago. It was well over a year ago now, a year and a half ago. I got a mention on the Cultaholic podcast. Now, ranking these is tough because obviously I'm just going to put them next to What Culture for now. Did Cultaholic offer more to the wrestling YouTube scene than What Culture. I don't think you can say that they did. The guys did, but as far as the channel goes, no. And for that reason, I think I am going to leave them there. Can I put them above Grim? I don't think I can. I think they have to stay there. I think they stay between Grim and Doohop. But that is my list, and we surprisingly have no one in trash. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Was I too harsh on some of these? Wasn't I harsh enough on some of these? I really do value your opinions when it comes to this stuff. While you're down there, as I said earlier in the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. But I will see you all next time.